Oh, you're just putting the plug in there. Is that what you're pounding on?
No.
Oh. Doesn't fit?
Well, if it goes this way, the lugs have to go this way. And they're coming up here. If it goes this way, the lugs have to go this way, but they're coming up here. I don't know.
Well, this is a square D box. It says it right there.
Yeah. That's too close to the bottom. I can't do that. I have to go up here.
Does it make a difference where it's at? Shouldn't, should it?
Not to me. There.
I don't know. Good grief. What a fiasco. So our electrician and our installer that took care of all the installing of the house. Ricky was trying to buy what he was calling a breaker for it. Couldn't find it. I don't know. Square D is big out in Wisconsin, but Scott said he couldn't seem to find Square D parts here. I don't know, just mass confusion. I did that. We're gonna try to explain this to you, but he's like, I don't even know where to start with it either, but there's something to do with this panel.
When we got the wiring brought in from the service to the house, we weren't connected here yet. And I realized the wires coming up to here weren't connected, and I looked for a place to connect them and I couldn't find one. So I called the electrician back and he says, you need this, and I don't know the name of it. And so I said, okay. I went and got one of this I don't know the name of, which is this right here.
Yeah.
This connects to the panel, and the house wires then connect to this and make the connection so the main can work. And this part happened to be about $360.
Yeah. Ricky was trying to find it at first, and he kept calling it a breaker.
Yeah.
But it wasn't really a breaker.
And I didn't need a breaker. I have a breaker.
Yeah.
And I have another one in the house. I certainly didn't need a third one.
Yeah, it was just confusing.
So I went and got this, and when I went and got this, the electric supply store said, well, I don't know why you're even using that panel. They sell a panel that has this built in, and it's less money than what I paid for this just alone. So we were kind of screwed in a way to get this panel, then have to buy another $360 part to make it work.
I know.
So,
but what we decided was this was actually from it was from the good electrician. The first electrician we fired because he was just going to be astronomical.
Yeah.
This electrician is actually a lineman. That's what he did. That's his job, as he works for,
District 4.
District 4. So, we were happy to have him. Nice guy. But I just don't think he does this kind of electricity normally. So
No, you don't.
But, in the long run, we finally had to figure it out. But what a mess that was. 3 tries, and Ricky had ordered one from Amazon, and then he had to cancel it, and then we ordered one, and we had to go 2 different electric companies, and then it depended on who you talked to by the picture that they saw, and there was just this mess going on. But
yeah, one guy said you need this, the other guy said you need that, and I ended up getting the one where he said you need that because he had it in stock. The one guy that said you need this, he didn't have it in stock. So
it was like, but anyways, we ended up, and it works. So
it did work.
yeah.
Well, we're done out here, right?
I guess.
Well, this can get picked up.
Yeah. I gotta. Yeah, didn't even film any of this, I don't think. Well, maybe I did yesterday. A couple hours. Gotta finish it this morning. Yeah. I gotta put some. We got so little left to do before the inspection. And so much more we could do before the inspection. I don't know. Just feeling exhausted. All this trim done. One coat on it. I just put another coat on there. Just gonna try and trim out our bedroom door. It's enough for this bedroom door. The outside here. The outside trim. Oh, Scott's got to put in this door. There, and the inside trim for the bathroom. We still got to tile this. I was going to do that the other day, and I just got overwhelmed with it. Got to rent a tile cutter, and then again, it's all about timing. This needs to be trimmed out. I don't know. Alright, well, I'm just going to get to work, start cleaning up a few things. Ricky's back today. We thought we were going to get a final, but that's not how it's happening. Because I did not send the final elevation in when I got it. Super sucks. And problems with the pump. See what happens.
I ordered this factory direct, but hoping you in Phoenix could have something that I can get through this. So appreciate you giving me a call back. Stop 608 669 1413.
What happened?
This started out.
So it's like dead, no good?
Here.
Got some gloves? Look at that. Okay, here's my most recent Arizona story, Pinal County. So, you know, we were trying to get everything done and ready because we're our permit's running out. So we found out the last inspection that we had to have staircases built at all the doors. So we went through all that just as this mad rush to get everything ready, and then trying to coordinate with Ricky when he could come out and do the final inspection with us, because he has to be there. He has to be there because he has to fire up the generator, and they test, the inspector said they go inside and they'll test to make sure that the GFIs work, and what else, Scott?
Just the electric.
Just the electric. And anyways, it, you know, a few little things that they check just to make sure that everything's good. So anyways, we got all that together, finally coordinated with Ricky. He was going to come out. We talked to each other on a Tuesday. He was going to come out on Thursday to take care of all of that. And so we decided we're just, because we were done. Needed a break. Going to go to Mom's. do laundry and just take a game and play some dominoes and do that stuff. So we did that. But while we were there, I went to call and make sure that we had that inspection scheduled. So I called for Mom's. I had all the information with me that I needed, the inspection numbers and all that stuff, and phone numbers and the codes and everything for the inspection. So while I was at Mom's, I called for the inspection for the final, and it wouldn't let me. It wouldn't let me schedule it. And it just said, you have to call building safety. And so I thought, well, you know, operator error. I thought it was just me. So I tried like, I don't know, 4 or 5 different times. Then I thought, well, this just isn't working. So I thought, well, I'll just have to call them and see what the story is, you know. So I called building safety and talked to this. She sounded like a young woman, and she wasn't real familiar with the whole situation. And I told her what I was trying to do, schedule this final, and she's like, well, put me on hold for a while. She's gone for half of a century. She comes back and she says, first thing is, are you still there? I said, yeah, I am. And so she proceeds to tell me that she learned all this stuff about mobile homes that she never knew before. So she said, it looks like you have all these inspections that still need to be done, like you, stem wall. And I said, well, we don't have a stem wall. And then she's like, you know, the well system, we don't have a well, we have hauled water. So she went through all this, and then she said, well, hold again. So she went and left me again for the other half of the century and came back again. Are you still there? I said, yeah, I'm here. And again, she kept going to her supervisor, and so she was saying that eventually what it all came out to be was that they can't schedule a final until they receive the final elevation certificate, and that it's been approved and reviewed by Pinal County. So I was freaking out a little bit about that, and because I had it done 2 weeks ago. I just didn't send it in to them in time, apparently. So that was my fault, as I figured out later. But in the meantime, I was a little crazy about it, because I said, look, our permit is running out. We have like until, I'm talking to her on a Wednesday, and I said, this is going to run out on Sunday. And she's like, okay, hold just a minute again. She left me there for, I don't know how many times that she went and checked with her supervisor. Anyways, this time she comes back and she tells me, your permit isn't expiring on February 11th. You have until May 6th or something. And I was like, what? I said, it says right on my permit. And I'll show you a picture of it. It does say on the permit. She's like, and to boot, I was down there several times before Scott even got down here asking questions about trying to get that revision permit. And I asked this building and safety lady then, I said, so is my permit going to get extended because we didn't get this revision done until now? And she's like, no, that's why we give you such a long time. Nothing changes. So this whole entire time, through the first permit that the electrician lost, another long story, and that the second, the revision of the permit we got came through, and it took a month to come through the state this time, because it goes to the state first and comes back. All this crazy stuff that happened, and now they're telling me that's something different, that this permit doesn't expire in the next couple days, which was great. Which is the wind, which was great if that was true. But I told her, you know, no offense, but I really am not sure that that's true. And so she's like, well, you can talk to my supervisor. And I was like, it's not like I don't believe you, but I don't know, it's just crazy business. So as it turns out, she still scheduled everything that she could, she said, by hand. And that she told me that, is there any other special instructions? And, you know, that I asked that, because Ricky's coming all the way from Mesa, you know, an hour. He comes up down here to be here. And I said, well, if he can call us an hour ahead of time, the inspector, before he's going to be here, so Ricky doesn't have a whole bunch of time wasted, you know, just waiting on him. I said, that'd be great. And she's like, well, that's fine. They can do that. Call an hour ahead. So we get everything scheduled that she thinks that we can get scheduled. She gets us on the line, and now I'm just thinking, well, now I got to figure out this elevation thing. And I said, well, you know, I'm in Apache Junction. I can't send it out to Pinal County until I get home. And then she goes and talks to her supervisor again, and she says, well, even if you sent it in today, it's got to be reviewed and all this and that. There's no way that it's going to be ready by, you know, the end of the day or anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Don't rush home for that reason, you know. So I was like, all right, well, and again, because my permit supposedly was extended anyway, so so frustrating, all this business. But so okay, so we maintain, play dominoes, go all the way home. 10 o'clock at night, you know, I set up the computer, I turn on the Wi-Fi, or I mean I have to get internet through my phone, the hotspot, and do all that, send it in, and 10 o'clock at night, just so I can know that I did it and got it all done. I get an email the next morning that says that they received it and that it was assigned for review. So I was like, well, cool, okay, they're on it, you know. So I mean, I'm thinking all this time that the only thing they really needed when they talked about final elevation was to get the actual elevation of the house, the floor, the finished floor elevation. That's what they needed. So 24 hours later, I get an email back from Brian Freihofer at Pinal County, who's been very helpful to us, I have to say that. But he's like, I just wanted to let you know that our hours have changed, and now we're only working 4 days a week. And so nobody's here on Friday, so it meant, you know, I couldn't respond back to him with any kind of changes anyways, but this was Thursday late afternoon anyways, so there's nothing that could happen that quick anyways. And that, you know, that Mondays get very hectic, so please bear with us, because there's so much information that comes in on Fridays that we all have to deal with on Monday, and, you know, so bear with us. And so I was like, oh, you know, whatever at this point. Now that I know that the permit's been extended, I'm not so panicky about it. Anyways, open up the comments that he had made on the elevation, and it was just every single page had some kind of a red correction that he wanted done, and there was things that these young boys had done and put on there from the surveyors. Had check marks by hand, and he didn't want that, and he wanted different pictures. These pictures weren't good enough because they wanted everything done on there with the skirting done, and any other building work that had to be done, and all this stuff. It was just so extensive, and I was just, again, shocked, because like I said, all I thought all along what they were looking for was this final elevation, to shoot one grade and figure out what it was, and they were done. Because we had gone through weeks and weeks of corrections with the elevation certificate previous to this, you know, like 5 months ago. It's just so overwhelming. Anyways, so that's where we're kind of dealing with. So now I have to forward this, which has nothing to do with us. None of this has anything to do with us. Because by the time we got this back, the skirting's on. You know, everything's done. We're not waiting for anything, because we were just hoping for this final permit. So I did forward that on to the surveyors, because they're the ones that are going to have to fix that whole permit. In the meantime, though, the that Thursday morning, Ricky came out. He had one last thing to do with electric, put something together. I'm not even sure what was going on there. I don't know, you know. So he had something to do with that. So he was working on that, and typically that for the 4 times before the inspector had been here, like 10:30, 11 o'clock, 11:30 at the latest, you know, so we kind of expected him to be here by then. So Ricky got done with his stuff, and first I had called him and told him, you know, don't come, don't worry about it, because this isn't going to happen. We're not going to have the final anyways, and this was all by text, and he finally just called me and said, Robin, let's just keep it scheduled. Maybe we can get through everything, and maybe you can at least get electric, you know, going, and we'll just do what we can. And I said, hopefully, you know, Ricky won't have to come back after we get this part of it done, no matter what. Well, so because this poor guy, you know, hasn't taken any money, and I was going to pay him in full once this job was done and we got this final done. Scott's over there shaking his head because I'm telling this story like way too much information, I guess. Regardless. Okay. So Ricky came, he did his thing, he waited and he waited and he waited, bless his heart, he was getting antsy. You can hear him pacing around the whole property waiting for this, and it was so cold that day, so windy. Oh my God. So the inspector finally called at 1:30, which was like way later than normal, and said, hey, yeah, how's it going? I'll be there. And I said, how far out are you? Oh, about 5 or 10 minutes. So I was like, okay, great. They'll be glad to hear that. So I ran and told Ricky, big smile on his face. He was glad to see it. So the inspector came, and he did his thing. He inspected whatever we had called in, but she didn't call in for the electric. So he passed everything, of course. He doesn't have a problem with anything that we're doing. And the inspector, and so he just told us, okay, well, you just got to keep on him, get that elevation certificate completed, and as soon as that's done, I send it back into the county. They'll review it again, and once they're happy with it, then they release it. Then I can schedule it. Once I can schedule it, the final over the phone by the inspection line, then to do the electric then too, because that one wasn't scheduled. If it's not scheduled, he can't write it off, although he did say it was complete and everything was fine. So anyways, I don't know if you can follow all that. I barely follow it all, so that's all I know right now. So as it sits right now today, we are just waiting for the report to come back from the surveyors, and then it'll go back to flood control at the county, and they'll finish it. So anyways, how was that for a long-winded story?